The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
This is how the birth of Jesus Christ came about. When his mother Mary was betrothed to Joseph, but before they lived together, she was found with child through the Holy Spirit. Joseph, her husband, since he was a righteous man, yet unwilling to expose her to shame, decided to divorce her quietly. Such was his intention when, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, "Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary, your wife, into your home, for it is through the Holy Spirit that this child has been conceived in her. She will bear a son, and you are to name him Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins." All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. "Behold, the virgin shall be with child and bear a son, and they shall name him Emmanuel," which means God is with us. When Joseph awoke, he did as the angel of the Lord had commanded him, and took his wife into his home. He had no relations with her until she bore a son, and he named him Jesus. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
This gospel is what we kind of affectionately know as the Annunciation of Joseph. In a way, it really does complement the Annunciation of Mary from the angel Gabriel in Luke's gospel, where the angel announces to Mary that she's to be the mother of God. We have that same dynamic going on here with Joseph, that the angel appears to him in a dream and announces what's going on. Partially probably because he's a little perplexed that, my betrothed is found with child. He's perplexed by that and doesn't know what to do. But at the same time, the angel does inform him of his role in this whole thing. And then he, like Mary, does give his assent, his fiat. He does as the angel commanded him. I always find it interesting. Mary says, "Yes, may be done to me according to the word." Joseph doesn't speak, he just acts. He just acts throughout all the Gospels. Acts in a very righteous way. So his fiat is doing what the angel commanded him. So good on Joseph. And I think what part of St. Matthew's intention is, and even in the church by giving us this gospel today, it does build off yesterday's. Yesterday's lineage, the whole genealogy of Jesus, it's really the genealogy of Joseph. Okay, Matthew goes through to show how Jesus came through the lineage of Joseph. That's kind of fascinating. And then today we have this Annunciation of Joseph, right? So Matthew goes to pains to show how this came, how Jesus came through Joseph, how the lineage from Abraham and Judah and all that, David and stuff, comes to Jesus through Joseph. That's what Matthew's showing. And I guess what it kind of shows to me is that Joseph, he's not just like a third wheel in this whole thing of Mary and Jesus, right? He's like an integral player. It's like he's the adopted father. And it's really interesting that Jesus, he's not stepdad, really. He is, we might technically call him things like that, but in his role, he's not the foster father of Jesus per se. Okay, or he is actually kind of per se, but his role is just like father of Jesus. And even this gospel, how the angel says, "And you shall name him Jesus." Joseph names Mary's child, who's conceived by the Holy Spirit, names him Jesus. Joseph does that. Also think of when Jesus is found lost in the temple and is found in the temple, and it's only in Luke's gospel, I believe. And Mary, or Joseph and Mary look for him, and they find him in the temple. And what's Mary say to Jesus? Your father and I have been looking for you anxiously. She doesn't say, your stepdad and I have been looking for you anxiously. Your father and I have been looking for you anxiously. In that time, when you were adopted, I mean, you were just one of the fold. It wasn't, maybe we see that now, but when you were the adoption process then, you were one of the family. You're just one of the family. You're part of the kin. You have legal inheritance, all that stuff. So it is dad, even if the DNA doesn't quite match exactly. Okay, I bring that up too, and a little bit of why it's interesting. It's neat just in regards to salvation history. But we too have been adopted. And that adoption is not just a legal document. We're part of the family. Like through Jesus, we've been adopted. God our Father is not our stepdad. He's dad. Through our adoption in Jesus Christ. I think it's St. Paul who would say, when the designated time come, God sent forth his Son, born of a woman, to deliver those from the law, that we might receive our status as adopted sons. That's who we are, right? So there's a lot going on here for sure. It's neat salvation history, neat genealogical data of how Matthew uses Joseph. But I think there's an image for us too, as we acknowledge our participation in this today, that we too have been adopted. And it's not just a legal document, it's a blood covenant, right? We're part of the family, we're part of the fold. It's just another opportunity for us to just go deep in this mystery of the incarnation that happens soon, that leads to our redemption on the cross and ultimately our eternal salvation.